Live from the Guild TV studio, it's Birmingham Goes Live!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Birmingham Goes Live. I'm Henry.
And I'm Freya, and this week's episode is all about music. Our guests include Callum Ridyard and our Aoife Connaughton and our very own Lily Richards. And then later on we've got music from the very talented Lara Aziz and Sam Ratcliffe. So music is something that, touches our everyday lives, and it seems especially pertinent recently with the death of musical legends like David Bowie.
And also, what with the Grammy Award winners being announced recently, this will cause much controversy, what with music being so subjective. So, did you watch it, Freya?
I did watch it, yeah. I really enjoyed Lady Gaga's performance. She did a tribute to David Bowie. It was like, the visually spectacular. She used her costumes and wigs and makeup and graphics, and yeah, it was lovely.
I thought it was really interesting, the way they did sort of the makeup on her face with the lights. But I read an article in The Guardian actually, which was really interesting. They ranked all of the David Bowie tributes. There were so many across the world, what with him being such a huge influence on so many artists. And they said that they ranked it quite lowly, and they said she made it more of a spectacle about herself. Obviously, it's an amazing visual spectacle. She's a fantastic artist. But it was more about herself than actually his music, and it sort of created this ego, and he was not about ego. He was all about the music. And she sort of took away from that aspect of him.
I see what you mean. I mean, Lady Gaga does have this reputation for being very much, a performer and a spectacle, and it can distract from the music.
If it was her own performance, fine. It was meant to be sort of a tribute, and 12 songs in 3 minutes. Is that really, she's rushing through them, and there's not really the attention to detail.
That's a good point. Are we listening to the music or are we just watching her?
Exactly. Another element that sort of really caught my eye actually was Kendrick Lamar's performance of The Black of the Berry and All Right. I thought it was amazing because it's such a long, the Grammys really, it's such a tepid, it kind of drags. It's almost 4 hours worth of material, and a lot of the songs are very slow ballads. And he came on in chains in his prison scene. It was a really interesting,
powerful.
really powerful image. And then he went into the African scene as well. I thought it was a really interesting image. He was really playing on the elements of racism, the treatment of black people in prisons, the recent death of the 17-year-old teenager as well.
Yeah.
And I thought it really caught my eye. It's such an interesting performance. And compared to you get this fluffy pop.
Oh, yeah, which is
sadly
what the Grammys can be dominated by. Yeah.
Exactly, it comes on in a club, you dance to it. But there's not really this. He's got this real connection with his music and a real connection with his audience. And he was able to display that.
Yeah, and there's obviously a political message as well behind his work, which gives his music far more meaning than you think any Taylor Swift song might have.
Exactly. I mean, it's fine. It serves a purpose.
Yeah, it serves a purpose.
Obviously, he was really into it. And really, it was the socio-political elements that he wanted to convey. Exactly. Right there. So I thought that was an interesting element.
Yeah.
Some of the winners, they're predictable.
Meghan Trainor,
Bruno
Mars.
It's all the same winners really. Even in the rock category, really, Muse winning. Well, I think they're amazingly talented musicians, but it is sort of painfully predictable now.
Of course, we can't forget they are very talented artists in their own right, but it's a very sort of Western, a very American phenomenon. It's like there doesn't seem to be much representation from, people from around the globe,
Yeah, and I mean, even British artists to a degree, actually. There isn't a huge amount of diversity.
Yeah.
And obviously with the Oscars controversy, is the Oscars
Oscars
racist?
so white,
exactly. You could argue, is this highly Americanized sort of award ceremony? General music, I mean, you look at the MTV Awards, and the Grammys. I mean, there were so many American winners. I mean, are they that much better? Is it? It is so subjective.
It is, as you say, and the nature of music is. It's a very subjective thing.
It's difficult because we all have our own tastes. We'll have things that we like, other people won't like. But it would just be nice to see maybe a few more interesting artists. I thought I thought the best new artist. I thought James Bay. Personally, he was one of my favourite artists from this year. I think there's a lot more soul in his music than Meghan Trainor's music, for example. He's sort of, again, he's speaking from himself.
Yes, as you say, we could go on for a very long time about music. It is
forever, really.
a very controversial topic, really. Anyway, we thought we'd now go to our first VT, which is the 60-second update. Bit of history for you all now.
This is Guild TV bringing you a 60-second update. Harvard University has now removed the word master from its academic titles after protests from students who claim the title had echoes of slavery. House masters in charge of residential halls at the university will now become known as faculty deans, and it will mean changing the job titles of 24 members of staff. Captain Eric Brown, the British Royal Navy's most decorated pilot, has died at the age of 97. Brown is famous for his work as a test pilot during World War II. Brown is also a world record holder as he flew 487 different types of aircraft during his action-packed career. One of the last remaining people held prisoner at the Treblinka concentration camp during the Second World War has died at the age of 93. Samuel Willenberg was one of 67 prisoners who actually succeeded in escaping the camp, and he spent the rest of his life educating others about the Holocaust. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Twitter for more 60-second updates throughout the year.
And now on a bit of a lighter note, we have two guests here. Hello, Callum, Ridyard and Lily Richards. Hello.
Hi guys.
So, you interested in the Grammys at all?
The Grammys, not necessarily my taste in music so much, as you can see, Download t-shirt right here. I did see Muse last year at Download Festival. They were pretty good, but yeah, I didn't watch the Grammys myself, but I have seen sort of bits about it. I did see Lady Gaga's performance, for instance.
Oh yeah, it was very well publicised.
Yes, it was viral. What about you, Lily?
I actually don't watch the Grammys. I more of a kind of a personal opinion. I much prefer musicians who are all about the music.
Yeah.
I have this thing. I feel that if a musician has written a song and he or a group have written a song and they lose themselves in the song and they put through all this emotion, and when you listen to it, you can just feel it. That for me is true art compared to a song that is just kind of made to make money. And unfortunately, I see the Grammys as a way of I mean, yes, it's great for musicians to get a bit of recognition for the hard work that they do. But I know that a lot of artists actually who win at the Grammys have a similar kind of mindset where they'll go up and accept the award, but they will say, I just do this for music. I don't do it for the fame. I don't do it for the money. Yes, I don't really watch the Grammys.
As an artist I particularly like, he's one of the ex-guitarists from Chili Peppers, John Frusciante, and they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he refused to go to the ceremony because he didn't believe that it was. He didn't believe he didn't need to get an award. He's making music. He didn't want to go and receive this award. And it's the same as it. A lot of them, they go up and they're not particularly interested in winning the award. It's a nice bonus, I guess.
Exactly.
But it's not what they're doing it for. They're doing it because they lose themselves in their own artistry.
Exactly. I much prefer music that's like that.
Often I think you find if an artist does get sort of so sucked up in the fame of it all, it can often go to their heads, and they start producing music that you don't necessarily like. So take for instance The Clash, when they started producing music that was more about making more and more money, and it just went away from their roots of what they were like. And I would say more recently, a band of mine that I used to love as a teenager was Paramore, and then as the band members slowly left, and we're down to just the the two of them now. It's not the same kind of music, and it's not the kind of stuff that I enjoy so much anymore.
Yeah, and I mean it may reach a wider public, but actually it loses that original core of fans, are sort of almost disenfranchised with it to a degree. And we know, well, you're talking about sort of musical death with David Bowie. We know you're a Lemmy Kilmister fan and a Motorhead fan.
I was really, really sad to hear of Lemmy's death and also David Bowie's death. I mean, Bowie is someone that I grew up listening to. My mum, gigantic Bowie fan, so always grew up with that. And then Motorhead, my dad's a big Motorhead fan. I was actually originally going to be seeing them at Download Festival this year, but obviously with Lemmy's death, they've cancelled the tour, they've cancelled their appearance. And the organisers of Download have actually sort of decided to, instead of replacing them on the stage, they've decided to put a kind of a memorial in place of their set. It's just a memorial. They're going to play some of their music and give everybody a chance to kind of remember what a great man and a great band that they were as a whole. And so it's big in our community. It was quite a difficult kind of couple of weeks with Lemmy and then Bowie and then Glenn Frey and other people as well, producers, different things
Bill
like
Wyman
this.
just announced his diagnosed with cancer the other day as well, former Rolling Stones.
Obviously this does happen, but it just feels like particularly recently.
But 2016 it's not been a good year for celebrity.
Wasn't it this morning? Wasn't it this morning the supposed fifth Beatle died?
Yes,
at
the
the age
producer
of 90 as well. It's horrible to think they're
dropping
dying.
like flies, really, aren't they?
No.
You just kind of feel like, your musical heroes are going to live forever.
Yeah.
But
You forget,
they don't.
Forget they're people too.
Yeah, they don't. And yet you look at people like Keith Richards, still going.
Yeah.
No idea how. He is still alive.
But then people did say this about Lemmy.
That's true, actually.
How did he keep going as long as he did?
He did do well.
On such an unhealthy
There's so
lifestyle.
many of them aren't there.
Oh dear, yes. So, Callum, obviously, tell us about your involvement in Burn FM. I mean, where does your love of music explain your involvement in Burn FM?
Well, yeah, I think when I originally joined Burn FM, which was back in my first year, I joined as a music journalist. First thing I did for them was interview a band that I'd never heard of before, and that was interesting. And then I got to go to some live shows, and I've done great stuff like that. I took on a role as part of the production team and also hosting a show in my first year, and I've been doing that ever since. I'm now third year, and I love hosting a show. I host a show on a Friday from 11 till 1. And it's less, that show is less about the music, more about sort of chat.
Okay.
Me and my co-host Matt, we talk a lot, we quiz each other on things, we talk about current affairs. We do like our music, we have sort of similar music tastes, so we always play a bit of rocky stuff. We also play some kind of dance music, house music.
So if someone was interested, say in say your musical taste, say Lemmy, Motorhead, people like that, is there anywhere they could say listen to that on Burn FM?
Yeah, so I can sometimes play it on my show, but also there are dedicated rock shows. So there's the Rock Sock show. Rock Society hosts their own show, which is a Wednesday night.
Nice, cool.
And that's 9 till 10 p.m. And then there's also a punk show on a Thursday night, again 9 till 10 p.m.
Brilliant.
So those two shows are sort of geared towards that kind of music specifically. But loads of other shows. There's pretty much every kind of genre of music.
Yeah.
Most of our final shows, because we broadcast until 11 p.m. every night, so most of our closing shows are kind of more dance music based, but it does depend on the nights. You can go and find the schedule on the Burn FM website.
Okay.
That's very clearly
thank
signposted.
Yes. Thank you very much. Well, as I'm sure, I hope many of you are involved and interested by the Guild elections. I know certainly we at Guild TV and you at Burn FM as well were. I was a run on the live show. Lily here was presenting and interviewing people.
Yeah.
And it's such a huge event for us. Well, let's have a look back at some of the highlights.
Votes have been counted and the results are in. Tonight we find out which 19 candidates are going to be representing the Guild for the next year. This is Guild Elections Result Night 2016. Right, well that was a very exciting and tense announcement of the results, wouldn't you say? That was pretty intense, right?
To say the least.
And some of those candidates were really, really close as well. I mean, the votes were shockingly close.
Some really unexpected winners as well, in some cases.
I just remember watching Welfare and there was less than 100, 100 votes between the winners in the final round as well. So what are your initial impressions on the winners and the winning manifestos?
Well, I mean, it's really been highly contested this year. I mean, especially with Welfare. It was uncontested last year. And what we've had 6-7 candidates going for it this year. Which is,
I didn't actually know it was uncontested last year. That's a huge change.
And Ross has got it again, which is wonderful.
And I think, Ross did a great job and now he can continue carrying on the things that he was developing last year.
I think he does have a very clear set plan of what he has achieved and what he's going to go on to do. I think that was very appealing to people and that's probably why he won.
Absolutely. I think being able to articulate what he's done this year and exactly what he plans to do with the second term was really important for that victory.
Now another position that obviously everybody was very excited about was the president position.
Of course.
Again, and it was quite a close position as well. There were some very strong candidates and Ellie took it in the end. So, I mean, what do you think was the one thing that really pushed her campaign forward?
Oh, she did have a very strong campaign. She had some great points and they were very clearly laid out, her simple healthcare and her support for students with jobs. I think that appealed to a lot of people.
Yeah, I thought her publicity was really, really strong. I thought a lot of her leaflets went into a huge amount of detail on what it is she was going to do, and I think that will have been a really big win for her.
But again, it was very close between her and Izzy.
Oh, so close.
Yes,
It was tense.
They both had very, very strong campaigns. And the position that I suppose means a lot to societies is the activities and development position. Again, a lot of strong candidates and it was a highly contested position. What were your initial thoughts on that one?
I had no idea who was going to win that one, I just have to say, and it did end up being really close.
Yeah, very hotly contested. I think a lot of the campaigns in this field had really, really strong kind of campaign machines and really had a lot of signs on campus.
Right, yeah.
Definitely.
Right then, well, we are going to go through the winners of the election just to remind those who may not be keeping track all the time. So, in the same order that they were elected, we're going to start off with the part-time positions. So, starting with the LGBTQ Students Officer, the winner was Francesca Nash. Congratulations to Francesca. The Anti-Racism, Anti-Fascism Officer, the winner was Rachel Fish. Congratulations. International Students Officer was Awati Mohammed. The Women's Officer was Alexandra Binney. Congrats to her. The Disabled Officer was given to Kiki Hassan. The Ethnic Minority Students Officer is now filled by Idil Dabahay. The Home Students Officer was Asif Mohammed. The Satellites Officer, Asif Mohammed was elected, and the Community Action Officer was Marisi Saitazinski. Okay, then we have the Housing and Community Officer, and the winner for this was Izzy Nichols. And then the Education Officer, Chris Wilkinson, took that one. The Representation and Resources Officer was won by Brandon Hulk-Hattiloni. We're going into the full-time positions now. Activities and Development was won by Natalie Cox. Sports Officer was won by Georgie Freeman. Postgraduate Students Officer was won by Rose Bennett. Welfare Officer was won by Ross Strong, and finally the President position, which was won by Ellie Keeler. Okay, that's it from us now. So thank you very much for joining us with the Guild TV coverage of Guild election results tonight. I'm James Cardis, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us.
So it's clearly been a very busy couple of weeks here at the university, but we've still got plenty to look forward to later this year. And one of those big events is the very own music festival that we host, Vale Fest. And here today we have Aoife Connaughton, the co-chair of Vale Fest. Welcome, Aoife.
Thank you.
I had a great time at Vale Fest last year, and I just the acts, the atmosphere. So can you tell us a bit more about what's planned for this year?
Yeah, so this year, a very similar setup to last year, but hopefully expanding on what we did a bit.
Yeah.
So we've got 5 stages of live music and performance, plus a small stage, which was a new addition last year, which was what we called the jam stage, where you could just go along and play music. You didn't have to be booked in or anything. So hopefully we'll have things like that back again. And our dance music was really popular last year, so I think we're hoping to sort of expand on that a bit, as well as some other things that we normally have, like stalls and caterers and a couple of activities. So last year there was a bouncy castle, things like that. I think in the past they've had the big
was it battle there was battle reenactment?
Yeah,
I'm sure
battle
as well.
reenactment.
Really?
Yeah, they're a firm favourite. Yeah, I think they're there pretty much every year, so they'll be back again. Yeah.
You can't keep them away.
No, it was really good, and we were so lucky because the weather was lovely last year as well. So, how can people buy tickets and stuff? Is the setup the same in regards to that?
So tickets hopefully will be coming on sale soon, and yes, keep your eyes open for that on the Vale Fest website, Facebook page, everything like that. The way that they'll be sold is sort of being discussed at the moment. So yeah, as I say, keep your eyes open, and we'll let you know.
Can you announce any acts for us at the moment? Are there any
there's a couple, yeah. So there's some that have been there before, like Ghouls, who have been a couple years.
Okay.
They are really fun. They really get into it. I think last year they were sort of stage diving onto the audience, stuff like that.
Oh god.
And then there's I think also some UOB people, so Sam Jackson and New Bays.
Okay.
And I think Shallows are also coming. And there's lots more as well, obviously. These are just a couple. And the Ents team are currently working on confirming a headliner, so as well, keep your eyes open for that. So exciting news in the pipeline.
Really exciting news.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved with Vale Fest then?
Yeah, so for me, I went along in my first year just as a festival goer, had a really good time, and I sort of thought, well, this looks fun. And then I saw something on Facebook and I was like, oh, I'll go along. Just sort of got involved. I started last year doing some stuff. We run promotional events throughout the year. So I did a couple of things helping out with that and stuff like that. And then coming this year, I thought, oh, I'll get a bit more involved and just see where it goes.
Now you're co-chair.
Yeah, exactly.
So, work your way up through the hierarchy, blimey.
But crucially, do you see Vale Fest as a really good way for getting people who perhaps don't normally get much chance to shine and show their skills? So do you think people?
Yeah, definitely, because we're not like the Glastonbury or anything like that. We are small scale. We're biggish, 5,000 person capacity, but
it's not bad really for a man,
exactly.
is it all student run?
It's completely student run, yeah.
So that's really
we've got a community of about 30 people, and obviously then these people have an interest in music.
Yeah.
They have an interest in people who do music in the university, so it's a good chance to sort of get those people involved. and it's sort of, hopefully, for some people, a platform to do bigger and better things. So, fingers crossed that you might be seeing some people who are at Vale Fest maybe doing bigger things in the next few years.
We'd hope to see that, certainly.
Yeah.
Do you know ticket price-wise, or is that all...?
Ticket prices will probably be similar to last year.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I know you enjoyed yourself there last year,
didn't you? I did. I had a really good time.
Do you remember it at all?
I mean...
Can you remember any of it?
I was... No,
okay, let's not go into that.
I particularly remember, as I say, there was something going on like a small tent. I can't remember the name of the band, but then I remember comedy being really fun as well. I think it was just generally a great experience. And as a first year, I thought, what a great thing this university has to offer. I didn't see it anywhere else.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hopefully lots of people think that.
Yeah, well, hopefully. Well, thank you very much for your time anyway. And speaking of somewhere that is, I think the Vale's generally pretty picturesque.
Nice,
it's reckoned to be quite a nice place. There's another place near campus, just a stone's throw away, the Winterbourne Garden, Botanical Garden Centre, and Brooke and Annie have been finding out more about it.
Thank you very much, no problem. So I couldn't say more.
I'm Annie O'Brien, and me and Brooke are here at the Winterbourne House and Gardens to celebrate spring being well and truly on its way. This stunning place is literally a stone's throw away from our lovely campus and Vale Student Village on Edgbaston Park Road. We're hopefully going to talk to a gardener here to find out a little bit more about the house's history and some of the lovely nature here.
I'm Brooke Snow, and I'm joined by Leanne Kesey, who is a horticultural supervisor here at Winterbourne Gardens. Thank you so much for joining us, Leanne.
No problem.
Can you tell us a bit about your job and what you do as a horticultural supervisor?
Yep. I am a supervisor of a certain section of the garden, so I look after the formal areas, so the lawns, the colour-themed borders, the vegetables in the walled garden and the wall garden.
Lovely. And can you, because I think a lot of our viewers, they're students and I don't think they know particularly much about the gardens, so could you tell us a bit about maybe the history of the gardens and like when they started?
Yep, so Margaret and John Nettlefold basically built the house in the early 1900s as a family home, and it's basically gone on from there. There's been 3 families that have lived in the house over the years, and then the last family, the Nicholsons, they gave the house and gardens to the university, bequeathed them and said you can have them but keep them as a house and garden, and so the university's basically had them since the early 40s, and now we're a public heritage attraction open to the public. We have an exhibition rooms, we have a gallery, tea room, the gardens obviously. I think that's about it.
Yeah, no, that's great. So will the tea room and all the gardens be open for Mother's Day on Sunday?
Yeah, they'll be open. We're open 7 days a week, all through the year, just closed for a couple of weeks at Christmas.
No, that's great. Is there any kind of flower that you reckon people will buy their mothers for Mother's Day, or?
There's lots of daffodils, if anyone's interested in daffodils. There might be some cherry blossoms, if we have any left. And there's lots of herbaceous plants that aren't in flower at the moment, but they'll look really nice in the summer.
We've been told a bit about the history and we've had a look around, and as you can see, it is stunning. So now there's no excuse not to come down with your friends or your family, and it's the perfect way to start Easter now spring is here.
Well, thank you for watching another episode of Birmingham Goes Live. I'm Henry.
And I'm Freya, and here to play us out are the very talented Lara Aziz and Sam Ratcliffe. Take it away, guys.
and I'm sure my eyes, they speak for me. No one knows.